basically, I want to do a shot that is surprising. And we're going to start with you guys walking from that area over there, which is an exit from the prison. And we're going to track you all the way, during your conversation all the way into the parking lot. And in that same shot, there's going to be an explosion. And to show you that it's safe, me and Lucas and our stunt coordinator, Ari, is going to do the actual scene.
Cool.
All right?
Yeah.
And when we're dead, you guys just take over.
You won't be dead. These guys are.
And so that's how confident in my effects crew I am. The idea that a man could take an entire city hostage from a prison cell, that's what did it for me.
Watch your ears, guys. Action!
Action!
I don't know how this one's going to turn out, Nick.
We're going to stop him. That's how it's going to turn out.
Oh my God! Jesus! Nick!
We just stood in the midst of the explosion. Seemed to work out well. I survived. It's actually pretty cool. It's good stuff. Right, that's
Well, I like the fact because we were saying that and he's gone. Like, as I'm kind of like frantic, like.
Yeah. His goes for, his objective is to get him out because he thinks he's alive. You take a look and
Nick is gone.
Gary Gray is a really great filmmaker. I watched Set It Off a long time ago and said to myself, somewhere in the back of my mind, I want to work with that guy. That story is very cool and very well done.
Thank you. Don't kick dirt in his eyes, guys. The challenge for me as a director, shooting a movie in this genre, is just to make sure that I'm not delivering the same old. That's the challenge, but I think that with my team, we've all, I think, come up with a good approach to deliver that.
His movies have complex characters. They're interesting. He's obviously got a great eye. This is a tricky story to pull off, and it needs a director who is able to, hold our interest when a lot of it in between giant action sequences is just two people talking. That's quite difficult to sustain. It really requires, very deliberate hand.
Started. Yeah, we were playing basketball yesterday.
Them dudes' minds was blown.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were sitting there going like, so man, just playing with dudes, man. Dude, who look like F. Gary Gray. I said, that is F. Gary Gray. Stop bullshit, Fox. I said, why would I be bullshit? He shooting the movie. Man, he was here before you got here. They were doing prep.
Okay, guys, this is gonna be a rehearsal.
They said they prepped the movie for him. Man, let's go on with that bullshit, Fox. Let's stop that bullshit, man. That ain't F. Gary Gray. Not out here with us.
Right. That's hilarious. Right. I try to go kind of, incognito.
They know, shit.
He was like, yo, F. I was like.
Then dudes start talking about movies. They were gonna put me in the movie. I said,
Tourniquets, so you don't bleed out, as you may be here a while. Saline solution, that should keep us going. Clamps. Oh, nice and secure. You comfortable?
Come on, get out of here. Get out of here, right?
that's great.
I said it's fucking
Fantastic.
Come on.
I know, it's pretty cool.
Get out of here.
We have, I tell you, between that and then into the tension and the fear and the darkness and then that, it's going to be fucking hilarious.
Right?
Yeah. And we need it,
Gerard Butler was originally going to play the Nick Rice character, the prosecutor character.
Jamie's agents called one day and said, would Jerry be interested in playing the Clyde role? Because Jamie really likes the Nick role. Jerry and I had a conversation. I said, really interesting, Jerry. They want to know if you want to play Clyde and have Jamie Foxx play Nick. And beat, and he went, oh my God. Jamie Foxx playing Nick? Me playing Clyde? Perfect. Yes. Tell them yes. And that's when it happened.
I hope you're doing better than me, baby. What are you making?
Necklace for Mom.
Yeah? Let me see.
One of the problems we always had with Clyde was that he started so innocent and then ended up just like a nasty villain. And to me, the more we were developing this and creating this, I thought, this could be anybody. This could be me, this could be you. And how would we behave in that situation?
We just kind of realized, you know what? He's more of a Clyde than he is a Nick.
Should have taken my deal.
That's 6 innocent people. Is that how you want to play us?
Nick is obviously the hero of this movie, but Clyde thinks he's doing the right thing. He's never a mustache-twirling, arch villain. He is a guy who's been wronged, and he's simply trying to make that right.
He didn't ask to be in this situation. If this hadn't happened to him, he wouldn't be where he is, and he wouldn't be exacting the revenge or being as violent or, as brutal as he is. But unfortunately, the randomness of life has left him in that situation. So you sympathize with him.
Please don't make a deal with this. Please don't make a deal with this, man. He's a monster.
The deal is done.
What?
I made the deal.
How could you do that?
This is just how the justice system works. Listen, I know you don't think it right now, but this is a victory for us.
Nick is a complicated character, He arguably does things in this movie or has done things just prior to the movie's opening that are of dubious morality.
Jamie actually created a character at first that wasn't there on the page. He kind of said, why don't I play this guy as a kind of slick guy who wants to get ahead, plays the system for what it is.
Willis is a rowing buddy of mine. Where are we on his kid's case?
Willis?
Yeah.
Oh, I kicked that down to June.
Why did you do that?
Because the case was a dog. The kid was only 15 years old when he committed the murder.
You wouldn't want to jeoprize your 95% conviction.
That's actually 96.
96 now?
Yes. Gotta keep your books better than that.
Most DAs that I talk to, they're about the conviction raters. And when you look at Mayor Giuliani, Giuliani got his rep by being the pit bull, by going after the big drug dealers. It catapulted him to different positions as far as being the DA and then moving on to mayor. So basically, I positioned my character like that, like he's on his way up. So, and that's what this guy is about. He really looked at it like, yes, the justice system, but it's also, I'm the Michael Jordan of this. And so that's how I start out.
Basically, he's taken a character and really infused it with a guy who is on the fast track, has listened to his mentors about how to make deals within the system and how to make it work for yourself.
Let's make the deal.
They killed a little girl, Nick.
It's an imperfect system.
And we, its imperfect servants. However, you could win this case.
No, can't take that chance. Some justice is better than no justice at all.
What he learns in this movie as he goes is, a lot of external circumstances cause him to look inward in a way that I think nothing else would have caused.
What's really interesting about this movie is, although you have two great leading men, they don't have a lot of scenes together. There's a lot of reference to what Clyde does. We see what Clyde does, but you see him very sparingly through the second act and the third act. But when you see him, it's powerful. And we had to make sure of that. I made sure in rehearsals that we mapped out his character. We mapped out the relationship between Nick and Clyde.
That's the great part about the acting is what's the most attractive thing, because you could always read the script and see what's on the page, but when you get a chance to put it on his feet and really go with something else.
I'm sorry. Because you guys had me, I'm in the scene. I'm like, it just became the devil. I would be like, okay, give me a fucking pencil. Right.
They were always the scenes that we discussed the most. It was always back to those scenes and what we could get out of them and what we could say with them and then what we could leave up to magic. And that was always a thing that I think we were trusting as well, that when Jamie and I got together, that a lot of magic would happen.
I'm going to be stuck behind the table without even a fucking pen. And I don't know how good it is. I'm like, you had to get the Sparta!
But we spent a lot of time rehearsing those scenes. They were the main scenes we rehearsed for, a couple of weeks before we started.
You think doing what you're doing is going to change anything? You and whoever else you have helping you. Tish, cut it.
You got 57.
You
That's funny. That'd be a funny thing.
Alan Perwin. happening? Yeah, that is the guy. You're right. That's the guy from the Italian Job. We're on a helicopter scout of Philadelphia. This is to add production value to the film.
Is that City Hall? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get to start out really tight on his face and get it spinning around, get the background going really good.
Philadelphia is a very specific choice on our part. It's sort of the seat of English common law in America. Aside from the obvious thematic resonance that it has with this movie, which is all about justice and all about, you know, is that even an achievable concept these days? It makes a lot of sense for us to come to where our founding fathers decided a lot of these issues.
Cool, thanks.
Thank you.
You couldn't shoot this in Los Angeles. And I don't think you could pull off the same approach in Chicago or New York. Maybe New York, but Philadelphia is perfect. The bridges, the height, the depth, the architecture of City Hall is just one of a kind.
This movie is what we're calling neo-noir, you know, and it was important to us to sort of have a place that was kind of graphically stark and unusual.
I thought that neo-noir is something that you, first of all, wouldn't expect, but it would be refreshing to see, you know, a movie of this tone and this genre, and not be afraid to grab the long shadows and have the high contrast colors, and it's elements like that that you kind of miss from some of the older pictures, and to introduce it to a movie like this in this genre, I think is a different approach, and I think it's entertaining.
It's very hard to describe. It's like, it's medieval in a way that is very memorable.
Yeah, it's a little creepy, man. I mean, you know, jail ain't the place for you, you know.
Appropriately creepy is exactly what Holmesburg is. What's funny is it's still a working prison. It was built in, I believe, the 1800s.
They did all types of different experiments and torture and things like that, and you kind of feel that, you know, with some spirits in there.
It was closed down after a couple of prison wardens were murdered about 20 years ago. But because of the huge prison population, they reopened it again.
I don't know, man. I mean, you'll never find that history on the West Coast, let alone, you know, somewhere in Los Angeles.
Rolling.
While we were filming, a lot of the time we'd have to stop filming. People would have to step out of this part that was caged off. They'd close the doors, and then out of one door, these prisoners would come in shackles, which I was in yesterday as well, so I sympathize with them, come through and go through another door, and they were led through by guards, and then we would start filming again. And we'd be on one side of the cage looking in at them, and they'd be like shuffling through, looking at us like, what is going on here?
Really works for the movie, because when you see Mr. Butler in those chains in that area, and then all that history of what's going on and what he's trying to do, and it really makes for great theater, man.
Everybody stay sharp. We're on the move.
This is probably going to be one of my favorite scenes in the movie, and that's Clyde killing Cantrell, and he's going to use a robot to actually do it. And Lucas Foster over here is the guy who made it happen.
I woke up on a Saturday 3 weeks ago and told my producer, Lucas Foster, hey, we can't shoot a rocket launcher killing Cantrell, Bruce McGill's character. I said, it doesn't make sense. I don't think it'll be particularly entertaining, and I think we should challenge ourselves and make it better. Initially, Lucas said it's going to be impossible, A, to get a robot in 3 weeks. B, I'm not really sure if we can fit that within our budget, because you just never know what the U.S. government is going to charge you to use a military weapon.
What the fuck is that?
And then after 30 minutes of persuading him that there was no other way, he, like a very good producer, said, I'm going to give it a shot. And here we are today, 3 weeks later, with the robot, with the machine gun, with the rocket and the Suburbans, and I think we're gonna end up with a really, really powerful scene.
Get down, get down!
This is why we make movies, to destroy things.
God, I hate doing this stuff. It's so boring.
That's crazy.